Hello, nice to see you again. Welcome to my hideaway studio, sitting at the top of my house here in Franklin, Tennessee. And thank you, Patreon members, for your support. It had been a while since I've done a session video, and this is kind of an interesting take on one of those. I thought I'd try, and that's altering the arrangement of an already recorded song. I recorded a song that was originally called Easy Street that I put up about 2 weeks ago. And I kind of stuck to the original arrangement that I used to do in my band Logos back in Marin. But as I kept developing it and writing new words, all of a sudden I had an idea to take a different approach to the song. And the beauty of digital recording is you can go in and keep parts and edit around it and build a new track. And that's what I'm going to show you here today. I wanted to make the song, it suddenly occurred to me to try the song in a halftime feel and a little more, less aggressive approach to the song and a little more appropriate to the lyric, I think. Because the lyric is pretty much, it's called Turbulent Times for a reason, because that's what we're living in these days. So it's a little bit about politics, but it's more about just kind of like being strong and sticking to our convictions and trying to make this world a more peaceful place. And let's try to hold on while we go through these turbulent times. So anyway, I'm going to run you through just a little bit of some of the tools I used, and then we'll get started and I'll show you around the track. Okay? So let's get going. Okay, this is my main workstation in my studio. I have a Windows 10 computer and I run Cubase 11 Pro on here. This is the arrangement window. This is the song, all the tracks. I'll explain those to you in just a bit. Powered listening back through Yamaha HS5 monitors. And I'm a big fan of Sony V6s or 7506s, but mainly I do a lot of monitoring with these headphones. I find they're a very true source for me. This is the tape transport, the machine. This is where I hit record, rewind, punch in, do all kinds of stuff from this transport. And then a computer keyboard to control a lot of the functions. This is the other window where this is the mixing, the virtual mixer. I also bring it up on the main window, which I'll show you in a few minutes again. This is my Apollo, Universal Audio Apollo Twin, which allows me to get in and out of the computer and to mix with different tracks and do multi-tracking. Which I do also with the Focusrite, I think it's, Focusrite Octo 8 or Octopre. I use a Warm Audio preamp, WA12, and then a Warm Audio WA2A, which is a compressor limiter with tube, which gives a lot of warmth to anything that I record, especially vocals. And speaking of vocals, I do a lot of vocal tracking with this microphone. This is also a Warm Audio WA47, which is a reproduction of the Neumann U47. It's not as good as the U47, I don't think, but it's pretty darn good for the dollar, and I really enjoy it. The other vocal mic I use a lot is this one I just picked up. This is a Shure SM7B, which a lot of people are using these for podcasts, but it's a really good rock and roll vocal mic. I use it also on drums and on guitar, or miking a guitar amp, and it's really good on a snare drum. This is my keyboard controller, which was inherited from Michael McDonald, actually. He used to use this when we toured, 10, 15 years ago. This was his main keyboard. And one day he just said, why don't I just leave this at your house so when I come over I'll have a keyboard. and I replaced the keyboard because there was a couple broken keys, but it's been my main controller ever since. It's got a lot of sounds of its own in it, but I mainly use it as a controller and pull from Cubase or the virtual plugins that I have for pianos, strings, all kinds of stuff, electric pianos, even pedal steel guitar. And then I'm going to show you which guitars I used on this session. I just got this one. This is a Firebird made by Epiphone. Really great guitar. I've really enjoyed this. I did the slide parts and the solo in the middle. The bass I used is this brand new bass I just bought. It's a Fender Mustang bass. Really, really cool sound. Put it on the bridge pickup. Man, it sounds really killer. Or I should say the neck pickup. Really cool. And then play with your fingers or thumb, which is what I do a lot. I sometimes use a pick. Here's my Hofner. Didn't use the Hofner on this one. And then, let's see. Oh, an acoustic guitar. I used my Takamine. What is this? An NP25 or something like that. I've had it for a long time. You can see it's got a lot of wear and tear on it, but man, it sounds better than ever. I bought this in 1990, I believe. And I think that might be all the guitars. Oh, one more. I used my ukulele, which is right here. This is a ukulele that was actually given to me by Michael for Christmas one year. It's a Lanakai. Got the tuner on it right now. It's conventional 4-string tuning, but a couple of strings have 2 strings, so it's kind of a mandolinish sort of feel. I love this thing. And that's about it. So here's a long shot of the studio portion of my studio. I love the space. So let's get to work, and I'll show you the arrangement change that I came up with, and you might find it interesting. All right, let's go. Okay, I'm sorry for the kind of side view, skewed view of the arrangement window, but I think you get the idea. As I was saying, this is the arrangement window here. If I scroll down, you see all the tracks. I've got them color coded differently so I can keep track of which group and what's what. For instance, this yellow track is the kick drum. Here's the hi-hat, the ride cymbal. Here's up here in orange, we got the snare drum and tom-toms, so on and so forth. Here's a piano in kind of bluish purple. Got an organ track, a string track that's in purple, and so on. If I keep scrolling down, I've got other organs and a Fender Rhodes, acoustic guitar tracks, ukuleles, lead guitars, vocals. These are all vocals here, and I'll show you those in 2 secs. But let's start with, this is the original track, and this is up here in the very top. This is a 2-track mix I imported, and it's the 2-track mix of the song that I recorded originally. So let's listen to a little bit of that. So you get an idea. That's the original track, which is got a thing of its own. But here is a halftime version. What I did is I took the groove and I played half the beats. It's called halftime. So here's a little bit of that.
day I feel the dream.
Okay, so that's, you get the idea. It's a whole different take on the song. Let's just show you a few of the parts. I'm going to solo out the drums for you. Let's see. If I press these little buttons here, these little, you can, hope you can see these somewhat. Like right up here, each of these is a track, and it's got a mute and a solo button, as well as a record button and a monitoring button. Then you can put plugins. Let's just, I'm going to solo out the kick drum and the drums. Let's see, and all the percussion as well. And there's a new shaker on there. So here we go. Let me get up to where the drums come in. Right here. Little bass. That's the Fender Mustang bass, along with the drums. Okay, here's a kind of a cool thing. I'm going to solo out just the snare drum. Check this out. We can add the toms in there too. Now, originally I didn't like the way the snare drum came out. So let me play you. This is a cool thing. I'm going to press this button up here, which is the E button, which is the edit button. And this brings up a channel window for just the snare drum. And let's see, actually. And I didn't like, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Sorry. I didn't like the way the snare drum sounded. So what I did is, there's this great program made by XLN Audio called Addictive Trigger. And you can actually take your snare part that you played and assign it to a trigger and have an assortment of snare drum replacements. So here's the program right here. This is called Addictive Trigger. And right now, that's the new snare drum. But here's the original snare drum. I'm going to take out that drum. And this is the snare drum that I recorded right here. You know, it's got a thing, but I just don't like, it sounded too brash to me. It's got a little too much room sound in it when I recorded it. I probably didn't baffle around enough to get rid of that. So here's the same track, but with the new snare drum trigger. It's the same part, but now it's playing. And it sounds a little dry. So what I do is I mix the two together. I bring this back a little bit. Now these are the two drums together, or the two sounds together. I'm going to add a little more of the real drum. And then I take a little bit out. Pretty cool little thing, man. And you can change the snare drum. There's all kinds, all different snares in here. And a lot of times I just mess around until I find one that works. But that's the one that seems to work well with the other drum. Okay, that's re-triggering the drums. You can do that for a kick drum, snare, tom-toms. I usually don't have to do the kick. I usually do just the snare and sometimes toms. All right, let's move on. Okay, here's a cool little ukulele track that I recorded for the song. And it's a kind of repetitive feel, but it sits behind the piano. Let's do, here's the basic piano part. And that is a virtual piano sample called the Grandeur, made by Native Instruments. Really great. I mean, just a beautiful piano. You just play into the controller like I showed you over there, Mike's keyboard that I inherited, and you just bring up this plug-in, and you have an assortment of all kinds of different pianos you can use. I can use another one called the Gentleman or the Maverick. I've got all kinds of pianos. XLN makes some great pianos too, but this one seemed right for the song. And then I've got a Rhodes going behind that, which is, this is made by Tune Tracks. And it's a it's a Fender Rhodes. They call it a Dream Machine, but here's the two pianos together. Here's just the Rhodes. Here's the two together. And behind that, I've got an organ going. This is also a Native Instruments. Great. This is made by Native Instruments, like I said, and this is just a B3, sampled B3. And you play it into your controller and you get yourself an organ. It's beautiful. So that's kind of the basic bed of the, let's see, I've got the piano. Here's a string track as well. Let's listen to that for a second. This is also a Native Instruments plug-in. Beautiful string sounds. So here's the piano, a second organ track I recorded, the Fender Rhodes, the new organ. This is the basic bed of the song. So let's start it right about here. And here's the ukuleles on top of that. And I've also got an acoustic guitar track going here. Let's listen to that for a second by itself. It's very basic. Here it is with the ukuleles. A little bit George Harrison, isn't it? Which I love. And okay. So that's basically it for the keyboards and the basic rhythm of the track. And then for other electric guitars, I've got a bunch of them going here. Let's see. I did a slide on my, what do you call it, my new Firebird. This is cool because I've got a bunch of effects on these. These are called plugins, by the way. I use a CLA effect, which adds a little bit of reverb, and then I've got a delay on it that gives it a little bit of depth, a little bit of repeat on the signal, and gives it a little bit of depth in the track. And I've got that on all the leads. And then I've also got this Leslie guitar. Well, actually, let's stay on the slide for a second. Here's kind of a neat thing. I did like a sort of a la George Harrison on slide harmonies. You can hear the delay on it, giving it a little bit of effect. To give you an idea, here's what it sounds like without it. which is cool as well. But in the track, the delay in it works nice. Just gives it a little bit of a dreamy effect, which I like. All right, so that's pretty much the electric guitars. And then here's one more electric. This is called with a Leslie effect on it. I used actually a Hammond Leslie pedal that I bought from Hammond themselves, which really does the job. Check it out. Isn't that a beautiful sound? I love it. And here it is in the track.
Taking 2 steps back, taking from us what's yours and mine, living in the past, can't we all let...
Okay, that's kind of the guitars summed up. Another beautiful thing that's on this track is what they call what do they actually call it? Let's go to the violin track. Where the heck is it? I'm blowing it here. Okay, here it is. It's called the Stradivari violin. And check this out. This is soloed out. It should come in right about here. Right about here. I mean, that's a beautiful, beautiful sample. So that's kind of cool. So here it is in context of the song. Starts with the slide part.
We're all in need.
Beautiful, isn't it? Okay, let's just take a look at the vocals here. Like I said, I recorded the lead vocal with the Warm Audio WA47 condenser mic. Really, really a nice mic. It's it's like for $1,000. You got a mic that's really kind of sounds like a $3,000 to $4,000 mic. Warm Audio, I can't say enough great things about them. They make really great stuff. But I recorded this through that mic, and it went into the Warm Audio preamp, and then through the WA2A compressor, and then into my Apollo. I added let's see, what is the name of that compressor that I used? Yes, I ran it through a TubeTech compressor CL1B. It's a really great reproduction of the actual real hardware version. And I've never used the real version, but from all the reviews I've read, they said they really nailed the sound of it. And it just gives extra warmth to your vocal. So here's the lead vocal.
We're all in need of love through these difficult times. It isn't hard to see.
Now I've got a little bit of reverb on there. It's the Epic, let's take a look at it. Well, it's another CLA. Where is the reverb? It's right here. Yeah, here it is. It's called Epic Stereo. It gives you a little bit of slap, a little bit of plate. You can select which reverbs you want to use. It's a great combination delay and reverb. On this particular song, though, I'm only using the reverb. I wanted this not to be drenched in too much effect. So I've just got a little bit of reverb, no delay at all, which I kind of like.
We're all in need.
I mean, it sounds almost dry in the track.
We're all in need of love through these difficult times. It isn't hard to see that we're on the verge of decline. Every day I feel.
Right right here, you can see I have another second track here. I like to double my vocals sometimes, sing the same thing again, and it just adds a little accentuation. Here's the two, here's the one by itself, and then another one comes in with it.
On the verge of decline, every day I feel the dream, moving one step closer, no telling where it'll lead.
Trick I learned from the Beatles. They always doubled their vocals. It's a neat sound. I still use it to this day, which a lot of people do. Okay, so that's basically the lead vocal. And then I've got a bunch of background vocals. Let's go to a spot where they really all come in. Here's the hook of the song. Here's all the vocals together. Let's see, lead vocal. And I like to use group channels. You can put you can group all your like background vocals into one thing, one channel, so you can control the overall level of those particular vocals. So I have group channels for the background vocals and then the lead vocals. So here's all of them together.
Living in the past, can't we all learn to live in harmony?
Pretty cool, huh? Let's go to another section that's, I like this section here. This is towards the end of the song.
Through the turbulent times,
Fun, huh? Okay, that pretty much gives you an idea of what you can do with a song that's already recorded and then go back in and completely change the arrangement and almost make it a different song in a sense. And as a songwriter and producer, sometimes my curiosity just gets the best of me and I've got to know. I don't do it a lot. I don't, sometimes I just know that a song's right. With this one, it was more of a self-indulgent experiment and something I could share with you guys with the wonderful world of recording. So anyway, so there you have it. Session of, and the song was originally called Easy Street, which had no meaning whatsoever. Now it's called Turbulent Times, which I think has a lot of meaning. Not a song I'm necessarily going to put out on an album. It was just sort of a recording experiment. And trying to find the right feel for a song. And when you're songwriting, when I write songs, I love to record them right away and get the first impressions of what you can do with it. And this one, I took it out. I think I'm about done with it. I need to move on. But I wanted to share it with you guys and share the magic of recording. Anyway, I hope you guys know how much I appreciate you and your support over these last 2 or 3 years now. I've been doing Patreon, and I plan on keep producing stuff for you to listen to. That's only here. I post stuff on Facebook and Instagram and all that, but the stuff that I record and post here on Patreon is exclusively for you guys. So I hope you dig it. Thanksgiving's coming up, so I want to wish you all a very wonderful Thanksgiving, and I hope you're with people you love and like, and have a wonderful time. That's about it. Peace and love, always. And I'll be back soon with more stuff. Thanks again. Okay, bye-bye. Peace.